Very excited to welcome on our volume teammate, the one and only Liv Moods. I think one of like 2 Nuggets fans with media personalities in the whole country. Liv, this is the season of Liv Moody. Congratulations to you and your Nuggets. How excited are you for the finals?
I'm so excited. I've actually had a really cool sports year in general with TCU going to the national championship. Obviously, they got their asses kicked, but still really cool. Like opportunities for content. I've been able to go to the games. It's been really, really fun. So yeah, us Nuggets fans are coming out of the woods here, and there's not many of us, but we're here for sure. We're here.
Okay, so first off, shouts to the blonde. I see you in your Beyonce era and shit. It's a good look right
Fire.
there.
Everyone's like, why would you change your whole identity before the finals, the first ever Denver Nuggets finals? I'm like, shit, does my hair have that much power? I really didn't. We're switching it up.
But honestly, we were talking before we started recording. We were like, you and HP basketball, like the only fucking media folks who are like diehard Nuggets fans, it feels.
Yes.
Like, right. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm speaking for myself and for the party. I think a lot of us doubted the Nuggets here. My personal thing on the Nuggets was I was never a Joker non-believer, right? I thought he was top 5 in the world. After this postseason, I will not argue with anyone who says he's the best basketball player in the world. My concerns were, I don't know how you play him and MPJ, those, so many minutes together without having a defensive presence there. And Aaron Gordon stepped the fuck up on the defensive end this postseason, right? So I have nothing but respect for the Nuggets. They have been the best team this postseason. So how does it feel as someone who has been believing in them from day one to finally have people kind of coming around on your team and seeing that these boys are really, really legit?
Angie's List is now Angie, your home for everything home. Angie doesn't just get your home projects done, Angie gets them done well. With 20 plus years of experience combined with new tools to simplify the process, Angie makes completing home projects easy. My wife and I own our house. We definitely have the home improvement bug. Been doing a lot of work on the house lately, and I will for sure be using Angie because instead of calling around, getting quotes from all these different places, like we just had turf put in the backyard, it took me 3 weeks just to get the quotes. We can pop our zip code and the project we want done into Angie, and boom, we got the quotes for the different contractors who can do the work right there.
With over 220,000 pros in our network, Angie makes it easy to research, compare, and hire pros to ensure a job well done.
Angie can help you get the best price for your project. Angie has projects that are priced up front and clearly lays out the cost before you buy. Angie has cost guides that will tell you what others have paid for similar projects, both nationally and in your area as well. With Angie, you can request quotes from multiple pros in just a few taps.
The pros in our network are locally based. The pros have been rated and reviewed by others in your area who have actually used their services.
In just a few taps in the Angie app or clicks on the website, you can have Angie tackle your home service project from start to finish, or you can research and connect with local pros for your specific project. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really fun, but, don't get it twisted. They've been a mess. And I've been to the games and I've been a fan for a long time. I was like young when one of my favorite players was Birdman. I thought he was like the coolest guy ever. White and tatted with the mohawk. I've seen this Nuggets team through a lot of different eras. And I think that it's never clicked. So they've always been like a decent team, right? But there hasn't ever been like a clicking moment. And honestly, I didn't even feel the click at the beginning of this season. I really didn't feel that way until post KCP Bruce Brown trade. And that was kind of when I started to go, okay, they've got something going here. And I'm not saying that the people that got traded out were a part of the problem, although I think they maybe were a little bit. Oops. But I do think that there was
I ain't gonna bring up the name, but I'm a big fan. Come on, Jimmy. Go ahead. I ain't gonna go ahead.
I won't name drop, but all I know is there was some chatter about, kind of maybe a sense of, I don't want to say entitlement, but there's a lot of good players on this Nuggets team. And unless you're willing to be selfless, it's not going to work with everything. Like there's so much talent on this roster. And so I don't want to play the blame game because at the end of the day, there's a lot of different things that I don't know about, conversations that are being had, whatever. But I think this requires a certain level, like I said, of selflessness, because it's not one of those teams where I talked about this the other day, like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. This isn't like a, elite player that hopped from one team to the next to chase a ring. Like they started from the ground up. Like they were stuck. I don't want to say stuck with each other, but you know what I mean? They didn't choose this. You know, Jokic didn't jump ship and go somewhere else to try to win a championship. This is chemistry that's been building progressively over time, which I think is why they're so stinking good. I mean, they've had to work with what they've got. Jamal Murray, obviously, after an insane 2020 performance, got injured. They were forced to kind of figure things out without him. I don't even think MPJ has reached his ceiling yet. I really don't. I've always said he's great when he wants to be, but I don't even think that we've seen MPJ in his like full talent yet. So, but again, it requires him to be selfless. If he cared about chasing his own stats, we would probably not have a winning record. So I just think post-trade midseason, I think there was a clicking moment, and that was when it really started to become like, wow, this team is great. So I don't blame people for not necessarily being, you know, huge fans of the Nuggets or watching the Nuggets, because I don't really feel like anything was super clicking until this year. So now they can watch and pay attention. But
I definitely realized what was going to happen when, was it like game 2 of the playoffs that Murray had 37 points, and it was like, and literally, and was like on the verge of tears for the whole post game interview, talking about coming back from being injured. And I was like, fuck, like that's probably like, that's probably what the year is going to be, you know?
I think that too. I mean, anytime they come back from an injury that serious too, you always worry about the potential of the rust and like, what is that going to look like when they return? I think Jamal Murray and Jokic are the best 1-2 punch in the league right now by a mile. And I think they've proven that this postseason. It was interesting when Jamal Murray went out. I just felt like there was obviously a massive loss there, but there was still a lot of talent. The chemistry wasn't there. And I think Jokic and Jamal have grown a lot together, not just individually. And that's been really cool to see. And I think that's half of the reason that they're doing so well right now.
Just a quick follow up on that, because I think you're exactly right. But I heard an interview with Michael Malone where he was talking about how emotional the conversation between him and Murray were after he tore his ACL. That he was like, "Coach, he asked him, he's like, "Coach, are you guys going to trade me?" And he's like, "No, like this is our group. We're going to keep this group together. You're going to get better." And then, you know, last year that he basically had been cleared to come back in the playoffs, but he just didn't feel comfortable. And then Malone was like, "I want you to feel comfortable. We're not trying to blow your confidence up." Like that is, there's not a lot of franchises left in the NBA that are sticking with the coach through that and sticking with the player through that. You know what I mean? And
there's clearly trust there. There's a lot of trust in this organization. And I think that is massive. I just think we're seeing with this Nuggets team that it's really not just about talent and skill. I mean, as much as we like to think that it is, there's so much more to it. And this Nuggets team, I just feel like they have all the right pieces to the puzzle right now. That being said, could they still blow it? Of course, this is sports. And I'm a Broncos fan, so I never let myself get excited about a damn thing. But that being said, they do have what it takes. So, you know, I'm excited, but I'm like, I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself.
You're not talking shit yet. I respect that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I am a little. That's all right.
Mike Malone has his team thinking they're underdogs. And
Michael Malone. Don't call him Mike.
How dare you?
I don't
How dare
you? Is he a Jenkins and Jonez listener? If you're listening out there, Michael Malone has his team thinking that they're underdogs. You feel what I'm saying? And it seems like the fans have tapped in. Y'all been the best team, you know, in the West all year. Do y'all feel like that? Even though, you know, y'all have been dominant.
The we believe one seed is my favorite.
Me? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know where the hell this underdog shit came from. They've been the number one team in the Western Conference all year long. But I think what it boils down to is, and this is a conversation we've had a million times, but it's the way that the media speaks about this team. It's like, good job, Nuggets. All right, is LeBron really retiring? It's like, what the hell? Like, that's not what the conversation should be about. And so I feel like there's a lot of people that just haven't felt like they can connect to this Nuggets team because there's no appreciation for what they're doing. I think it's like, we're kind of in this world of basketball right now where it's like, okay, you've got the watchers that really love basketball and you have the watchers that love entertainment. Yeah. If you want entertainment, turn on Bravo TV or E! News. I don't know what to tell you. This is basketball. And so right now I feel like this Nuggets team is just playing a really good game of ball and they don't have the theatrics and the dramatics. So there's not a lot to talk about. So we're not talking about them a ton. And because of that, I think they feel overlooked. And maybe that's where the underdog mentality came from. I think it's more about being overlooked than it is about being underestimated. Although I do think there probably was some underestimation there. And I think that probably stemmed from Jokic conversations, because there were a large sum of people that were like, you know, kind of waving off what he's been doing and how great he truly is. So yeah, I don't know where this underdog shit came
was
from.
nasty. The whole conversation this year was nasty too. And I understand them being like, all right, fuck this, you know.
I think it's more just like like I said, they've been good, but it's like it hasn't been enough. And finally it's enough. And now people are like, whoa. You know, I again, that's the comment that everyone says. I didn't even know that Nuggets fans were a thing. I'm like, yeah, we're here. We're just typically, we don't have much to talk about most times. So we're pretty silent. But so yeah, I personally, I've never viewed this team as an underdog. I mean, I don't know how you say a number one seed is an underdog by any. I think we're actually talking about, like, we're forgetting that this is an 8 seed versus a 1 seed in the finals. Like, this is we're kind of talking about it like they're on an even playing field right now, and I don't understand it. Now, I'm not discrediting an 8 seed because they're a very dangerous one, but yeah, it's weird. It's just how we speak. I think it's just how people speak about this Nuggets team that probably feels a little, you know, undervalued, if you will. But I've never viewed them that way. I don't know where that shit comes from.
Yeah. To your point about the Heat being an 8 seed, they're unlike any 8 seed we've ever seen, and I think they're the best testament so far to how valuable the play-in is, because no team has missed, you know, cumulatively more games from their players, from their roster, than the Heat did, right? And so, you know, they would have been out of the playoffs, you know, if we just, you know, stuck to the regular 8 and 8 seed shit. But you know, they played their way in, and here they are, fucking, you know, knocking off everybody in the East and going up against the Nuggets. So yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting to see. You know, something else that's interesting to me is I saw a stat on Jokic. I think the belief that Jokic's food on defense is so fucking overblown. For one, I think he's a solid defender, and for two, I saw a stat that showed that he becomes a better rim defender in each quarter. And what that shows me is that is a smart basketball player who knows his physical limitations, is picking his spots, and because he doesn't want to foul out early, and then late in the game he's letting it fly, and he's just you know holding his shit down. So yeah, man, it's really been an interesting development for the Nuggets this postseason. Like you said, a lot of people didn't believe in them, but I think a lot of us were like, okay, we know that y'all are regular season monsters. Show us in the postseason, and they for sure showed us this postseason.
Prove yourself. Everyone's been waiting for the moment to go. We know Jokic is good. We know Murray is good. Prove it. We live in a ring culture. It is what it is. If you don't have a championship, all of a sudden it's like, well, you might be good, but you're not that good. It's like, so we've been waiting for this moment for them to prove that they can do what they've been doing on the biggest stage possible. And so, yeah, I mean, it's so funny. I think I've cracked the code on Nikola Jokic, because you talk about how people like talk about how he doesn't play defense, which as a fan, I can tell you, sometimes I wish he'd step it up a little bit. And I'm usually coaching him from the living room, telling him to get his shit together. Not that he can hear me. I will tell you, I think what people get so frustrated about with Jokic is that he appears to play lazy basketball, but what he does is so effortless that I think people are like, what in God's green earth, how are you able to do what you do? Because he's just kind of got this, like, he reminds me of like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Like, hi guys. Like, he's got this just like very like nonchalant, like whatever. And that's not discrediting how talented he is, but I think it rubs people sideways, because it's like you've got guys that are just hustling and they're aggressive. A Bruce Brown gets on the court, the effort is there, the consistency is there. And Jokic is just like, you know, whenever I'm feeling it, except he's balling on everybody. And I think it's like, okay, we've never seen somebody this good that's kind of like not, how do I say this? He doesn't have the NBA look. Okay. He really doesn't. He's kind of got this.
He's an optical illusion. Yeah. He looks like a big dopey white guy. Yes.
Yes. Like, I mean, truly, if you did not pay attention to the NBA and you saw him walking the streets, like, I highly doubt you would go, you see people and you're like, that's an athlete. They've got that. But Jokic
best player in the world. Right?
He's a tall guy that works at Starbucks. That's what he'd say. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
And I think it drives people nuts. Like, I really do. I think it's frustrating to see somebody so good at what they do, and it looks like they don't care. I mean, this is the guy that they've had to deliver him trophies in Serbia because he's out there like riding horses on wagons and like chilling with his people. But I think it's so different from what we've seen that he's not a media personality. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't really.
He's still a great interview. He's an incredible
Great interview.
He is. Oh, he really
Yeah.
is. He's actually so funny. And part of me wishes that he had an Instagram or social media because he kind of has that Giannis like dad jokeness in his
Totally.
interviews.
Yeah,
And it's so fun to watch. But yeah, I just think that he's such a rare species in this league that I think it just drives people nuts because he's just so he's very untraditional. And I think that is really hard for people.
I know you got to get out of here, but I have one last question.
I got one
which
question
is-
too.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm
Go
good.
ahead,
You guys
go
can
ahead.
ask them. You're good.
Okay, all right. My question is, you were into gambling. Obviously, sports betting is like completely taken over professional sports.
Yes.
You were into you're into TCU, historic, memorable, unbelievable season, getting the national championship game. You're a Nuggets fan. Nuggets are the we believe 1 seed, the best basketball player in the world, the favorites going to the finals. It's a 2-part question. Number 1, are you drunk with power? And number 2, what other things do you like so that I can invest in them early?
Drunk with power. Listen, something that I'm very proud of is I'll stay humble. I'll talk my shit, but I like to, I like to feel it out a little bit. I'm obviously so excited for what the Nuggets have done. I think what they've done is great, and to be a part of it and to be a fan of it, that plus TCU and the Avs last year. So like I've had a really cool little year here of sports and being, I definitely feel like right now on Twitter, I've got some power for sure. It's like, it's so funny because people will tweet at me like I'm on the damn team. Like they'll be like, nice win, Liv Moods. I'm like, what? I'm on my ass drinking an espresso martini. What are you talking about?
You're
Nice
like,
win.
way to rotate on defense, Liv
Right.
Moods.
Or they'll tweet at me, tough loss, Liv, tough loss. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, so I definitely feel like there's a level of power that I have for sure because the Nuggets are just a rare fan base right now. And people have already followed me prior to this. And now, they're like, oh, Nuggets, that's kind of cool. And again, they act like I'm suited up. So I'll take it. I'm fine with that. Like I'll roll with it and whatever. But yeah, there's a little bit of power there. And honestly, I don't know what I did. Like, I don't know why the sports gods are blessing me this way, but I feel like it's like that moment where you're like, okay, shit's about to hit the fan at some point. It's not going to be this good for this long. Something's going south. So
Smart.
I'm remaining humble for now, but yeah, it's been awesome.
We talked about the Heat being an AC. I'm wondering how nervous are you? Like with Spo being the coach and, y'all look like a machine, just running like a train, running through people. You feel me? But Spo's really good at like finding a weakness in the machine and like mucking it up. You know what I mean? Fucking up some of the cogs in the engine or whatever, How nervous are you facing, this Heat team with the team the Nuggets team that is obviously way better? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm nervous. I mean, I'm obviously, like I said, I can talk shit with the rest of them, but I'm fully aware that this is a very dangerous Miami Heat team, and Jimmy Butler is very dangerous. But I think we've kind of had a little bit of a break from the Nuggets, and I think people are starting to forget just how great fundamentally they are across the board. I don't think
they don't take bad shots. They don't take bad shots.
They don't. And God bless Bam Adebayo, but he's not doing shit to stop Jokic. I'm just sorry.
Big
Love
old
him.
fact there.
Love Bam Adebayo, but he's not going to do shit. I think that we've got MPJ, who's got a size advantage in terms of the game that he's going to play. Aaron Gordon on Jimmy Butler, I actually love it. And I think that Aaron Gordon, he kind of is a little selective about when he wants to step up and be aggressive. But if he does, I feel great about that. And Jamal Murray, to me, can hang with a Jimmy Butler. I think that offensively, it's going to be just this 3-game. Miami, obviously, really, really great from the 3 in that last game against the Celtics. Will they be that great again? I don't know. After the All-Star break, this Denver Nuggets defense was top 5 in 3-point defense. So
great guard defenders.
Yeah. So I'm nervous because it's sports and anything can happen. But I really am so confident in what the Nuggets not just have done right now, but they've done it all year. So to me, it's like, just show up and play your game. Like, it is working. They're 12-3 in the postseason right now. Like, what they're doing is obviously working. So right now I'm going Nuggets in 5. I think that the Nuggets and Jason Timpf and I actually talked about this. He said, and I agreed with him, that the Nuggets are talented enough to sweep this Miami Heat team, but it feels disrespectful to say that because of what the Heat have been doing. Like, when you think sweep, you're like, there's a huge, disadvantage here. And that's not what we're working with. But this Nuggets team is just They're smart basketball players, and I think that's going to be their advantage. I do think the one thing the Heat has right now, for sure, is a coaching advantage, but everything else, I lean Nuggets here. So I'm going to say Nuggets in 5 is what I like. But of course, I'm nervous because shit hits the fan all the time. So who knows? But I'm pumped.
All right. Well, that was obviously most of our preview, but quickly, what are your guys' thoughts? We got game 1 tomorrow. She actually called my prediction exactly. I got Nuggets in 5. I have nothing but respect for Spo. I have nothing but respect for the way the Heat have played. But both X's and O's, I mean, it's like heart and brain. It just all aligned on. I just don't see them having it in them to really push the Nuggets in this series. I think the games will be fun, but I think it'll be a decisive Nuggets series win.
I got Nuggets in 6. I remember when we were doing some playoff previews, and I was like, there's 6-game series where you have no doubt in mind the team's going to win. And John's like, when the fuck does that happen? I was like, bro, we just saw that with the Nuggets and Phoenix this postseason, right? I think it's going to be one of those series where I think Miami gets 2, but there's no doubt in our minds that, the Nuggets are the better team and the Nuggets are going to win the series. It just feels so disrespectful picking against any team in this series, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, both of these teams have been fucking remarkable this postseason.
I find it hard to see, Spo and them not get 2. It's difficult. I mean, it could very well be a sweep. I think the Nuggets are that much better talent-wise, and I think this is the first professional basketball team from the players to the coach that they faced. You know what I mean? They're not going to make the dumb mistakes that the Heat take advantage of or have taken advantage of in the last few series. And they got, when like she brought up like, Murray and Jimmy, like, I think Murray got just as much dog in him as Jimmy does. You know what I mean? I think they can go dog for dog when it comes to
35 points per game in the Western Conference Final. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
26-point fourth quarter, something like whatever, the 23-point fourth quarter. Like, bro, he got it in him. So I don't know, man. I see it. It could be a sweep, but I would say it's hard to see this Heat team not get 2. So I would say 6-2. But like you said, just a decisive 6-game series.